Our verse is Romans 8:38 through 39. For I am convinced that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor things present, nor things to come, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor any other created thing will be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. God put everything in this verse to show us that nothing can take us away from his love. Nothing in our past that we've done, nothing we are currently doing, no thing on this earth or in this heavens can take away that love. I want you to be encouraged in that today as that encourages me.
Okay, I'm excited today to do a little talk on 10 frames. And I think that's because 10 frames are a little bit new to me. And so it's exciting to me. Anytime I'm learning something new and a new tool I can use in my classroom, it's exciting. So that's why I think these professional development are so important, because as we learn new things, it keeps us interested and excited. But the great thing is this is a really great teaching tool. So this is going to be part of our number talks. They could be just a separate lesson you're using. I like to use them with the number talks. I encourage you to use them with the number talks, but they could be done separately as just a lesson. So let's talk a little bit about this math tool. This is becoming a very popular math tool because it helps students with so many um, foundational things they need in math. So as you can see, I have what's called a 10 frame here. And then on the back, I have a 5 frame. So you can do either one depending on the age of your students. Let's talk about some ways you can use a 10 frame. In the lower primary, you can use it to just introduce the numbers 0 to 10 as we're learning to count. So when I made mine, I laminated both sides. I will be sending you this document, and it's got a 10 and a 5. I cut them apart and I laminated them. Then you're going to need some counters. So a counter can be anything that fits inside these squares. So you could use construction paper that you laminate. You can buy counters, which is the easiest thing to do if you can do that, if you can get them. What I did is I went to the store, and because it's October here, um, they have lots of paper plates, and they had lots of black paper plates for October. So I just bought the paper plates and thought, well, if I don't use them all for 10 frame, I've got some paper plates to use. And so it's those sturdier paper plates in black. And actually the size for this is I used like a salad dressing lid, like a Hidden Valley salad dressing lid was a really good size for this. And I cut them out. So for lower primary, you can use simply counting, putting them on this, on the 10 frame, and the students counting them. So you can count them together. We can talk about how many there are, but you place them on here. The students count them. Now, this lesson with a 10 frame is explaining what a 10 frame is. We would tell the students that this is one 10 frame. It's one unit. And that's important because later you can start introducing 2 when you get up into 11 to 20 numbers. It's got 10 cells or squares, whatever you want to call them. And the top row always has 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the bottom row has 5. Now, this is important for another reason. We do 10 frame because our number system is on tens. Every 10 in place value, we move up to another one. We only use 10 numbers, 0 through 9. So 10 frame is important. But knowing 5 is important because when students are shown a number like this, they don't have to count this hand. It always has 5. So if you're teaching your students to do this, say this is 5, 6, 7. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or once they get good at a 10 frame, they're going to say, well, you're just one away from 10, so it must be 9. So when I show you this, you immediately know this is 9. You don't need to count. That is because you can do something called subitizing. Subitizing means to be able to look at something and know exactly how many it is. If I did it a different way, like this, sometimes you have to count. But if you do 5 and a number, you know it's 9. Here's another subitizing. When I show you this, you know it's 6. You don't even need to count it. Subitizing means we know that is 6. Let me show you another subitizing. If I showed you this, if you didn't count it, you would immediately know that's 7. You know 5 and 2 is 7. So this 10 frame helps students to subitize. So they at first will need to count this, but later they will just know it's 3. And they'll know there's 2 more to make 5. And they begin making those connections, those relationship connections that say 3 and 2 more is 5. 3 is less than 5. Lots of things that you can be showing them. As the students get further along, so you could do several days of this, just keep reviewing it. When you get to something like this in your number talk, you show this to the students. How many is it? The student, we call on a student, they say 7. Here's the important part. You need to say yes. How did you know it was 7? What did you do? And so make sure your students are listening to what they say, because they might say, well, I know this is 5, and then I counted 6, 7. So important for the students to explain their thinking for themselves and for other students to hear the variety of ways to find an answer. Yes, did anyone find it that same way? Very good. Now, did anybody find it a different way? Someone might say, well, I counted 5. I knew this was 5. I didn't count these. I knew it was 2. And I know 5 and 2 is 7. Oh, very good. That's right. Anyone do another way? Well, I know it's 10 and there's 3 missing. And so that would be 7. That's probably highly unlikely they would do that one. But let them be talking about the different ways you know that this is 7. So you could do several of these during a number talk. This is the way you start, with you creating them, then the students talking about them. Now this one I made, it's not really large. It's about a half a piece of paper. And I put Velcro on it so you can peel them off. So I can do it like this. Now I liked this size because I can put it on a clipboard and I can hold it like this in front of my chest so that the students can see it. And that clipboard gives it some stability. But you can make even a bigger one on a half a sheet of poster board if you want it in Velcro, if you have a way to attach it. If you have a document camera, this is super handy. This would be my favorite way to do it, is with a document camera. I'm going to be sending you, along with these document printouts, some websites that actually have 10 frames on them. And you can show a 10 frame up on the board. So this would be a great way. But after you have done them for a while, you would give this to your students. If you don't want to make enough for every student, maybe half of the students, partner 1 gets to make the 10 frame. Partner 2, watch with your eyes, not your mouth, and make sure that they do it correctly. Can't touch it, can't use your fingers. Then we'll have partner 2 build one. So this time you're going to ask the students to make a number. So say make the number 3. they're probably, if since you've been practicing it, going to do it like this. And you're going to say, yes, how did you know this was 3? 1, 2, 3. I know that it's 2 less than 5, however they describe it to you. But then you're going to say, can you put the 3 on there, make a 3, clear it off? Can you make a 3 another way? Okay, maybe you have been practicing this with the student, showing them different ways. That is 3. Good, clear it off. Partner 2, can you make 3 in another way? Correct, that's 3. They are seeing 3 within the tens and seeing it very quickly that it's 3. That no matter what, no matter where you put them, it's always 3. You could do this with all the numbers. So you can see that between these two things, you could do a 5-minute number talk for a couple of weeks or more of going through the numbers and practicing them with the students. As students get older and and you have been doing this for a long time, you've been practicing this, the students are very familiar with it. Then you can move into this. You will get this sheet, and then you will need to make your little counters. I don't know what I used for this. I don't remember. Maybe a coin. But now you can begin to move into, for the older students or those who have been doing this for a while, higher numbers. So the students should know when you fill up, grab a few of these, when you fill up this entire 10 frame, they should know immediately how many you have. So you can already see the beauty of this is going to be when they get good at this, place value is really going to make a lot more sense to them. I've got one set of 10 already. It's just helping them see it in another way. So you can ask the students, how many is this? 14. Yes. How did you know it was 14? How did you find that number? One student may say, well, I did 10, and this is 1 less than 5, so it's 4. So 10 and 4 is 14. Yes. This is 10, and then I counted 11, 12, 13, 14. Yes. However they came up with it is fine. Then as you begin to fill these up, and now I don't usually go past 3 because if they can do it up into the 30s, they can do it in any number. So this is usually fine. So now they would count these 10, 20, 21, 22. Or I did 10 and 10 and 2. 10 and 10 and 2 is 22. However they decide to do it. So as you can see, there's going to be a lot to do. Now, this can even be done with decimals later. Students can see that this is 1 whole and this is 3/10. So we're moving into decimals. So you can do several talks of 1 whole, 3/10. 3 out of the 10 squares are filled in. So it's 1 and 3/10. So there's lots of things you can do, but you want to start with those basics of the number frame, of the 10 frame, and get them used to it and build your way up slowly and get them really comfortable with it. Okay, so I'm going to be sending you some links of all these documents and websites. And so I hope you and your students really enjoy using and learning with a 10 frame.